Have you ever wondered how the quiet thoughts drifting through your mind in the deep silence of the night are connected to the very fabric of the cosmos? It is a gentle question, one that arises when the world has settled into stillness and you are left alone with the vast expanse of your own awareness. We experience consciousness every single second of our waking lives, and even as we slip into the mysterious realm of dreams, you feel the softness of the air against your skin. You hear the distant, soothing rhythms of the natural world, and you hold within you a universe of memories, emotions, and hopes. Yet, despite how perfectly intimate and familiar this experience is, the exact nature of how physical matter creates a subjective, feeling mind remains one of the greatest unresolved mysteries in all of human knowledge. It is a puzzle that has kept brilliant thinkers awake for centuries, staring up at the infinite night sky, asking how a universe seemingly made of silent, lifeless particles could ever wake up and begin to observe itself. If you seek comfort in the unknown and find peace in the gentle pursuit of cosmic truths, I invite you to relax your shoulders, take a slow, deep breath, and allow yourself to drift along as we embark on this contemplative journey together. To truly appreciate the depth of this mystery, we must first look at how we have traditionally understood the world around us. For hundreds of years, classical physics taught us that the universe was like a magnificent, ticking clock. In this view, everything is mechanical, predictable, and solid. If you know the exact position and momentum of every particle, you could theoretically calculate the entire future of the universe, just as easily as you can predict the arc of a thrown stone or the orbit of a distant moon. In this grand clockwork cosmos, human beings were often seen as mere accidents, complex biological machines wandering across the surface of a lonely planet. The mind, in this classical perspective, is nothing more than the hum of biological gears turning inside the brain, a byproduct of chemical reactions and electrical impulses firing across billions of neurons. But, as our scientific instruments grew more precise, and as our curiosity pushed us further into the microscopic shadows of reality, we began to realize that this clockwork model was fundamentally incomplete. When we looked close enough, the solid, predictable nature of the universe dissolved into something far more beautiful, far more mysterious, and deeply intertwined with the act of observation itself. This brings us to the strange and breathtaking world of quantum mechanics, a realm that exists far below the threshold of human perception. To enter this space, we must shrink our perspective down past the cells of our bodies, past the complex proteins and biological structures, down into the very heart of the atom. Here, in the quiet, ancient foundation of reality, the solid world vanishes. The particles that make up your body, the room you are in, and the distant stars shining in the night sky do not behave like tiny billiard balls. Instead, before they are observed, these fundamental building blocks exist in a state of pure potential. They are not in any one specific place. Rather, they are smeared out across space like a gentle wave of probabilities. Imagine a single drop of water falling into a perfectly still pond, the ripples expanding outward in perfect, quiet symmetry. In the quantum world, a particle exists as a ripple of possibility, capable of being anywhere within that expanding wave until the exact moment it is measured. This phenomenon, known as superposition, challenges our most basic intuitions about reality. It suggests that the universe at its core is not fixed or determined, but is instead a vast, shimmering ocean of infinite possibilities waiting to be realized. The profound mystery of this quantum wave is that it does not stay a wave forever. The moment an observation is made, the moment a measurement occurs, that expanding ripple of potential instantly collapses into a single, definite reality. The particle stops being a smear of probabilities and suddenly appears as a solid point in space and time. This strange transformation is often demonstrated through the famous double-slit experiment, a cornerstone of modern physics that has baffled the brightest minds for over 100 years. In this experiment, tiny particles are fired one by one toward a barrier with two tiny vertical slits. When no one is looking, when no measurement is taking place to see which slit the particle passes through, it acts as a wave, passing through both slits simultaneously and creating a beautiful, overlapping pattern of interference on the screen behind the barrier. It is as if the particle explores every possible path through the universe at once. But the instant scientists place a detector at the slits to simply watch the particle and determine its path, the wave behavior vanishes completely. The interference pattern disappears, and the particle acts like a solid little bullet, passing through only one slit or the other, completely changing its nature simply because it was observed. This brings us to the heart of our existential wonder. How does a single particle know it is being watched? What is it about the act of observation that forces the universe to choose a definite state? Early pioneers of quantum mechanics, brilliant minds who laid the foundations of our modern understanding, were deeply unsettled by this. They debated whether human consciousness itself might be the trigger that collapses the quantum wave function. Could it be that the universe remains in a state of suspended animation, a hazy fog of possibilities, until a conscious mind turns its attention toward it? This idea, though highly controversial, suggests a cosmos that is not cold and indifferent, but one that is intimately tied to our very existence. It implies a universe that requires a viewer to bring it into sharp focus, much like a beautiful painting that only truly exists when there are eyes to appreciate its colors, shadows, and shapes. The notion that our quiet, internal awareness could have a fundamental role in shaping external physical reality feels almost magical. Yet it is a hypothesis born from rigorous mathematical equations and decades of precise laboratory experiments. When we contemplate this possibility, the boundaries between the internal mind and the external universe begin to dissolve. We are no longer isolated observers trapped inside biological machines, looking out at a mechanical world through the windows of our eyes. Instead, we become active participants in the ongoing creation of reality. Every time you open your eyes in the morning, every time you turn your attention to the stars above, you might be participating in a quiet cosmic dance, helping to draw the definite physical universe out from the infinite realm of pure potential. It is a deeply humbling thought. It does not mean that human beings literally control reality with their passing thoughts, but rather that consciousness and physical matter might be two sides of the same ancient coin, woven together since the very dawn of time. As you lie there, feeling the steady rhythm of your breath, consider the profound peace that comes from this expanded perspective. You are not a stranger in a cold, vast cosmos. You are a fundamental part of its structure, a necessary element in its grand design. The universe is vast beyond comprehension, holding billions of galaxies and endless mysteries. Yet, without the quiet presence of an observer, without the gentle light of consciousness, all of that immensity might just remain a shadowy wave of unfulfilled potential floating in the dark. The beauty of this exploration is that it requires no advanced mathematics from you, only an open heart and a curious mind. When we strip away the intimidating academic jargon and the complex equations written on university chalkboards, what remains is a profound and deeply poetic truth. The pioneers of quantum mechanics, figures who challenged our fundamental grasp of reality, often found themselves sounding more like philosophers or poets than traditional scientists. They realized that the deeper they dug into the fundamental nature of matter, the less material the universe appeared to be. The solid building blocks dissolved into shimmering energy, into vibrations, into pure relationships and silent connections. And right at the center of these silent connections sits the observer, the quiet watcher. You, as you rest today, know that the very atoms in your body, the oxygen you gently breathe, and the iron flowing through your veins are all dancing to these strange quantum rules. The mystery is not something far away, hidden in distant galaxies or deep inside expensive laboratories. The mystery is right here, beating in your chest, resting in your mind, and wrapping you in the infinite wonder of simply being alive. As we continue this journey through the strange and beautiful intersections of the mind and the quantum world in our next chapters, we will explore even deeper mysteries. We will look at how particles can remain intimately connected across vast cosmic distances, communicating in total silence faster than the speed of light. We will explore theories that suggest the human brain itself might be operating as a delicate quantum computer, processing information in ways that defy classical physics. We will listen to the thoughts of brilliant physicists who spent their lives trying to reconcile the mathematics of atoms with the undeniable reality of their own conscious experience. But for now, as this first chapter of our exploration comes to a close, let your mind rest on the simple, beautiful idea that you are deeply and essentially connected to everything around you. Your awareness is not a biological accident. It is a profound cosmic phenomenon. Let this thought wrap around you like a warm blanket, bringing you a sense of safety, belonging, and peace. The universe is a grand mystery, and you are the universe experiencing its own gentle wonder. Have you ever felt an inexplicable connection to someone entirely out of sight? A sudden knowing that transcends the vast physical space separating you. It is a common human experience, a gentle tug we often dismiss as coincidence. We are conditioned to believe distance is an absolute barrier, that empty gulfs of space divide things permanently. If two things are far apart, they cannot influence each other without a signal traveling the slow journey between them. This makes logical sense in our everyday world. If you want to touch a distant star, you must cross the endless dark. If you want to send a message across the world, it must travel through cables or ride invisible radio waves, bounded by the speed limit of light. But what if the universe, at its most ancient level, completely ignores this rule? What if the concept of distance is nothing more than a persistent illusion created by our limited perception? This paradox brings us deeper into our journey, inviting a sense of wonder that can soothe the tired mind. To understand this profound mystery, we must return to the microscopic realm, to the silent world where the fundamental particles of the cosmos reside. In the early days of quantum mechanics, scientists stumbled upon a mathematical quirk so unsettling that the most brilliant minds of the 20th century refused to believe it was real. They discovered a phenomenon we now call quantum entanglement. Imagine two tiny particles of light, born together in the fiery heart of a single cosmic event. Because they were created from the exact same initial condition, their properties are intimately and permanently linked. In the strange language of quantum physics, they do not exist as two separate entities, but rather as a single unified system, no matter how far apart they might drift. You could leave one of these particles right here on Earth in a quiet laboratory, while you place the other in a spacecraft and send it on an endless journey across the infinite universe. You could place it on a frozen moon orbiting Jupiter, or cast it out into the dark spaces between distant galaxies, millions of light years away. In our classical understanding of reality, these two particles are now completely isolated, separated by an unimaginable gulf of space and time. But the quantum universe operates by rules that defy all common sense, rules that challenge everything we thought we knew about the fabric of reality. If you were to observe the particle left here on Earth, gently measuring its spin, you would force its wave of infinite potential to collapse into a single, definite reality. But here is where the breathtaking mystery unfolds. At the exact same instant, with zero delay, the twin particle sitting millions of light years away on the other side of the cosmos will simultaneously collapse into a corresponding state. The two particles communicate perfectly and instantaneously, as if the vast distance between them does not even exist. There is no signal sent, no light beam traveling across the dark void, no invisible wire connecting them through the cosmic expanse. The action is immediate, faster than the speed of light, defying the very fabric of space itself. Albert Einstein, one of the greatest scientific minds in human history, was so troubled by this idea that he famously dismissed it as spooky action at a distance. He believed that the universe must be reasonable, that nothing could travel faster than light, and that things separated by great distances could not possibly share this immediate connection without some hidden mechanism. For decades, this remained a philosophical debate, a quiet argument whispered in the halls of academia. But as our scientific instruments grew more sophisticated, researchers figured out how to test this connection in actual experiments. Through brilliant logic formulated in the mid-20th century, physicists were able to prove in laboratories around the globe that Einstein's perfectly reasonable universe was, in fact, an illusion. Quantum entanglement is not a mathematical error. It is a fundamental and undeniable feature of our reality. When two particles are entangled, they truly operate as a single entity, sharing a profound bond that entirely ignores the vastness of physical space. Even as I speak these words to you now, scientists have successfully entangled particles over enormous distances. In recent years, researchers utilized a specialized satellite orbiting high above the Earth, beaming entangled particles of light down to separate ground stations located hundreds of miles apart. When they measured these particles, they found that the mysterious connection remained perfectly intact. The distance made absolutely no difference. The universe is deeply and inherently interconnected at its most foundational level. Space does not divide the quantum world. Rather, the quantum world exists in a state of quiet unity, a single unbroken fabric woven from invisible threads. Now, I invite you to pause for a moment. Take a slow, deep breath, and allow this immense scientific revelation to gently wash over your consciousness. Let the profound silence of this realization calm your thoughts and ease your body. If the fundamental building blocks of reality can remain so deeply connected across infinite distances, what does that mean for us as human beings? You and I, the ancient trees outside your window, the deep oceans, and the distant burning stars scattered across the night sky, are all made of these exact same quantum particles. every single atom in your physical body was forged inside the crushing cores of ancient stars that lived and died billions of years before our own sun was even born. As the astronomer Carl Sagan beautifully observed, we are literally made of star stuff. When those massive stars reached the end of their lives and exploded in spectacular supernovas, they scattered their heavy elements across the cosmos, seeding the empty dark with the essential ingredients for planets, for oceans, and, ultimately, for life itself. The particles that currently make up your left hand might have originated in a completely different exploding star than the particles making up your right hand. Yet, all of these countless particles were once condensed into a single point at the very moment of the universe's birth, 14 billion years ago. If particles born together remain entangled, is it possible that a quiet, residual entanglement still exists between all the matter in the universe today? Could it be that the illusion of separation we feel in our daily lives is just a persistent illusion created by our human senses? This is the beautiful threshold where the rigorous data of astrophysics and quantum mechanics blends seamlessly into a contemplative sense of awe. We are so accustomed to viewing ourselves as isolated individuals, solitary minds floating in a vast void, entirely separate from the world around us. We look up at the night sky, and we often feel small, intimidated by the crushing scale of a universe that spans billions of light years. But the reality of quantum entanglement offers us a radically different perspective, one that brings immense comfort and profound peace. It suggests that deep down, beneath the visible surface of classical physics, beneath the arbitrary boundaries of skin and miles, everything in existence remains fundamentally connected. You are not a separate, lonely observer looking out at the cosmos. You are a continuous, living extension of the cosmos itself. The same strange quantum rules that bind two particles of light across a galaxy are operating within the tangled, beautiful neural networks of your own brain. While science is still working to fully understand how these quantum effects might scale up to biological systems, many brilliant theoretical physicists are actively exploring this frontier. They are asking whether the strange, unified feeling of conscious awareness, the way a million different sensory inputs somehow combine into a single experience of reality, might actually be the macro-level expression of a quantumly entangled system operating within us. Imagine, for a moment, the billions of neurons quietly firing inside your mind right now as you listen to these words, communicating in a magnificent symphony of electrical and chemical whispers. What if this complex biological machinery is actually resting upon a much deeper quantum foundation? What if the human brain is not just a classical computer made of meat, but a delicate, highly tuned instrument designed to resonate with the subtle frequencies of the quantum universe? If this were true, it would mean that your thoughts, your memories, and your quietest moments of reflection are intimately tied to the processes that govern the birth of galaxies and the mysterious behavior of entangled light. It would mean that consciousness is not an accidental byproduct of random evolutionary chance confined to the dark interior of the skull, but rather a fundamental property of nature, as basic and necessary as gravity. When you close your eyes and retreat into the silence of your own mind at the end of a long day, you are not closing yourself off from the world outside. You are tuning in to the most fundamental frequency of the cosmos. You are exploring a vast internal landscape that is woven from the exact same mysterious fabric as the farthest, most unreachable reaches of deep space. As the night deepens around you and your body naturally seeks its well-deserved rest, Allow yourself to let go of the rigid boundaries that define your busy, waking life. Release the need to understand every complex mathematical detail, and simply embrace the magnificent beauty of the mystery we have uncovered. You are a living, breathing expression of a deeply and completely connected universe. The vast distances of space are not empty, terrifying gulfs designed to keep us isolated and alone, but rather a beautiful, endless canvas upon which the universe paints its ongoing story of profound unity. You hold within your very cells the ancient stardust of exploded suns, and the very particles that make up your physical being are dancing to a hidden quantum rhythm that knows absolutely no distance and respects no artificial boundaries. In this quiet, meditative moment, there is absolutely no separation between you and the endless cosmos stretching out above. You are completely safe, you are eternally connected, and you are an integral part of a grand, unfolding journey that has been going on for 14 billion years. Let the gentle awe of this realization rock you into a state of total tranquility. Let the mysterious action of the universe remind you that true connection transcends all physical limitations. As we move forward into the next stages of our cosmic exploration together, we will look even closer at how this quantum weirdness might literally reside within the warm, beating biology of our own bodies, and how the simple act of being aware might be the universe's ultimate, most beautiful way of finally knowing itself. Have you ever stopped to wonder how a warm, messy, and constantly moving biological body can possibly harbor the freezing, delicate states of quantum mechanics? It is a gentle question that bridges two entirely different worlds. For a very long time, physicists believed that the strange rules of the quantum universe could only ever be observed in completely sterile laboratories. To capture a single particle in a state of superposition, scientists typically must cool their instruments down to temperatures hovering just a tiny fraction of a degree above absolute zero. In these freezing, silent chambers, protected from all external noise, particles perform their mysterious cosmic dance. If even a tiny whisper of ambient heat enters the chamber, the delicate quantum state instantly collapses, destroying the magic in a fraction of a second. This fragile nature is exactly why classical rules seem to govern our everyday reality. Our world is hot, chaotic, and incredibly noisy at the microscopic level. The human brain, in particular, is an active biological environment, pulsing with constant electricity and bathed in a never-ending flow of chemical reactions. It is the absolute worst possible place to look for quantum mechanics. The very idea that quantum weirdness could survive the chaotic soup of human biology was once dismissed as impossible. Yet, the universe loves to hide its deepest mysteries exactly where we are convinced they cannot possibly exist. To understand how this impossible biological quantum connection might actually be real, we must first look at the quiet, ancient forests and the gentle green leaves soaking up the morning sun. In recent years, a new field of science has quietly emerged, known as quantum biology. Scientists have discovered that nature has somehow figured out how to use quantum mechanics in the warm world of living things. Consider the beautiful process of photosynthesis, the fundamental method by which plants turn sunlight into vital energy. When a single particle of light, a photon traveling from our distant sun, strikes a green leaf, its energy must be transported deep into the cellular machinery. If this energy traveled like a classical physical particle, bouncing randomly through the crowded biological environment, most of it would be completely lost as heat. But rigorous observations have revealed that the plant does not use classical physics. Instead, the photon of energy enters a state of quantum superposition. It acts like a wave of pure potential, simultaneously exploring every possible path through the leaf's complex molecular structure all at once. By doing this, the energy instantly finds the most efficient route, completely bypassing the chaotic noise of the biological environment. The quiet trees standing outside your window are living quantum computers, silently calculating infinite probabilities to capture the gentle light of a distant star. We see the exact same breathtaking quantum magic in the skies above us, particularly in the graceful migrations of birds. For decades, biologists marveled at how certain species of birds could navigate across thousands of miles of featureless oceans with absolute precision, perfectly finding their way back to the exact same tree year after year. We knew they were sensing the Earth's magnetic field, but the biological mechanism remained a profound mystery. The magnetic field of our home planet is incredibly weak, far too faint to trigger any normal chemical reaction in a standard brain. Yet, recent studies have uncovered a stunning truth hiding inside the eyes of these ancient navigators. Within the retina of the European robin lies a specialized protein containing a specific pair of electrons. When a photon of light enters the bird's eye, it strikes this protein and creates a pair of quantumly entangled electrons. These two tiny particles, bound together by spooky action at a distance, become incredibly sensitive to the faintest magnetic forces. As the bird shifts its delicate head, the Earth's gentle magnetic field slightly alters the intricate quantum dance between these entangled electrons, creating a subtle chemical signal that tells the bird exactly which way is north. When you watch a quiet flock of birds drifting across the twilight sky, you are literally watching creatures navigate using the hypersensitive magic of quantum entanglement. If humble green leaves and migrating birds have naturally evolved to harness the delicate power of the quantum universe, what does that mean for the most complex biological structure in the known cosmos, the human brain? This brings us to a beautiful, deeply fascinating theory that attempts to bridge the vast gap between human consciousness and the fundamental fabric of reality. Deep inside every single one of the 86 billion neurons operating in your brain, there lies a structural framework made of tiny, hollow tubes, known scientifically as microtubules. For a long time, biologists thought these microtubules were nothing more than the simple scaffolding of the cell, the biological equivalent of wooden beams holding up the walls of a house. But brilliant, pioneering scientists began to notice that these tiny structures possess an incredible, highly ordered geometry. Their crystalline structure is absolutely perfect, forming a beautifully symmetrical lattice that spans the entire volume of the human brain. These visionary scientists proposed a breathtaking hypothesis. What if these tiny, hollow tubes are not just structural support, but actually biological quantum processors? What if the microscopic interior of a microtubule is perfectly designed by billions of years of biological evolution to shield delicate quantum states from the warm, noisy environment of the surrounding brain tissue? Inside these quiet biological tunnels, the fundamental particles of your mind might be entering states of quantum superposition. According to this profound theory, your brain is not operating like a standard metallic desktop computer, blindly passing electrical signals back and forth in a predictable chain of cause and effect. Instead, it is operating like a vast, beautifully synchronized quantum orchestra. The billions of microtubules across your entire brain might be quietly humming in a state of quantum coherence, deeply and intimately entangled with one another. In this elevated state, the countless possibilities of your thoughts, your deep memories, and your upcoming decisions exist as a massive, shimmering wave of pure potential, suspended in the dark void of your skull. And then, at a specific threshold, this magnificent wave collapses. The universe makes a choice. Out of a million possible states, one single reality emerges, and in that exact, brilliant fraction of a second, a moment of conscious awareness is born. This beautiful theory suggests that consciousness is not just a random bunch of brain cells firing off chemicals in the dark. It is a fundamental quantum event occurring millions of times a single second across the vast internal cosmos of your mind. Each quiet moment of profound realization, every gentle emotion you feel, and every sudden memory that drifts quietly into your awareness might be the direct result of a quantum wave collapsing into physical reality. We are walking, breathing quantum phenomena. As you lie resting, feeling the steady rhythm of your own heartbeat, allow the immense beauty of this idea to fill the quiet spaces of your mind. The strict line separating the cold, infinite universe of physics from the warm world of your personal feelings is entirely an illusion. The exact same profound forces that dictate the behavior of light traveling across billions of light years are actively working inside the biological cells that allow you to perceive and dream. You are not a solitary observer standing outside the cosmic machine. You are the cosmic machine itself, finally waking up to experience its own stunning complexity. Your quietest thoughts are not isolated events happening in a vacuum. They are genuine cosmic events, deeply embedded in the ancient fabric of reality. The universe did not just create you billions of years ago and leave you to wander alone. It is actively happening within you, every single second of your existence. This profound realization replaces the cold, mechanical view of human existence with a deeply poetic, interconnected reality. The silence you seek when you close your eyes is not an empty void, but a rich field of absolute potential. You are fundamentally designed by nature to resonate with the entire universe. As we drift further into this infinite journey in our upcoming chapters, we will explore exactly what this biological quantum connection means for the greatest mystery of all, the relentless passage of time. We will ask whether the past, the present, and the future are simply persistent illusions created by the continuously collapsing waves of our own consciousness. But for this gentle moment, there is absolutely nothing you need to figure out. Simply rest your mind in the comforting knowledge that you are a beautiful, entirely necessary piece of the universal puzzle. Your mind is a vast, ancient mystery, continually dancing with the distant stars. Let this profound sense of cosmic unity carry you deeper into a state of absolute, peaceful stillness, held securely by the mysterious grace of the cosmos itself. Have you ever wondered why we only ever experience the universe in the precise, fleeting moment we call the present? It is a gentle question that often arises when you are lying perfectly still in the quiet of the night, listening to the rhythmic ticking of a clock or the soft sound of your own breathing. We feel time flowing around us like an invisible river, carrying us constantly away from the ancient past and pushing us relentlessly into an unknown future. You can remember the soft warmth of a summer afternoon from your childhood and imagine the quiet peace of tomorrow morning, but you can only actually live, breathe, and feel in this exact, single fraction of a second. For our entire lives, we are trapped inside the narrow window of the now. Classical physics taught us that this flow of time is an absolute force of nature, entirely indifferent to our existence. Sir Isaac Newton believed that time was like an empty stage upon which the events of the cosmos played out, marching forward at the exact same pace everywhere, forever. But as we dig deeper into the breathtaking mysteries of the quantum universe, we discover that this intuitive feeling of time passing is yet another persistent illusion, a gentle trick played on us by our limited human perception. To truly understand the mystery of time, we must look at how the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century revolutionized our perspective of reality. Albert Einstein, with his beautiful theory of relativity, proved that time is not a fixed ticking clock floating in the dark void. Instead, time is deeply woven together with the three dimensions of physical space, creating a single, flexible fabric known as space-time. In this magnificent cosmic architecture, time can actually stretch and bend depending on how fast you are moving or how close you are to a massive object. Even more profoundly, Einstein suggested something that deeply challenges our common sense. He proposed that the past, the present, and the future all exist simultaneously in a massive, unchangeable structure, often called the block universe. In this view, your childhood, this exact, quiet moment right now, and the distant end of the universe are all equally real, existing at different coordinates in space-time. Einstein himself famously wrote that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. However, while relativity beautifully explains the grand scale of galaxies, it does not explain why our conscious minds feel forced to travel through this block universe one painful, beautiful moment at a time. To find the answer to why we experience the flow of time, we must shrink back down into the microscopic shadows, where the strange rules of quantum mechanics reign supreme. In the strange and silent quantum realm, the concept of a linear timeline completely falls apart. When a fundamental particle is existing in its wave of pure potential, it is fundamentally unmoored from the strict flow of time. It exists in a state of suspended animation, waiting for an observation to collapse it into a definite reality. This brings us to one of the most mind-bending thought experiments ever conceived, proposed by the brilliant theoretical physicist John Archibald Wheeler. Wheeler wanted to know if a measurement made in the present moment could somehow affect the deep, ancient past. To test this, he imagined an experiment on a truly cosmic scale. Imagine a bright, incredibly energetic object, called a quasar, sitting at the very edge of the observable universe, billions of light years away from our home planet. This quasar emits a single, gentle photon of light that begins a vast, lonely journey across the infinite dark of space. This journey begins billions of years ago, long before the Earth was formed. As this single particle of ancient light travels toward us, it encounters a massive galaxy sitting precisely between the distant quasar and our future home. The immense gravity of this intermediate galaxy acts like a giant invisible magnifying glass, bending the fabric of space itself. This gravitational lens forces the traveling photon to make a choice. It can travel around the left side of the galaxy, or it can travel around the right side of the galaxy. Because this photon is operating under the mysterious rules of quantum mechanics, and because no one is there in the quiet void to observe it, it does not choose just one path. It enters a state of beautiful superposition, traveling down both the left side and the right side of the galaxy simultaneously, splitting its potential across hundreds of thousands of light years of empty space. For billions of years, this single photon exists as a smeared-out wave of probability, encompassing two entirely different histories, continuing its silent journey through the cosmos until it finally reaches our tiny blue planet. Now, imagine that astronomers sitting in a quiet, dark observatory here on Earth point a highly advanced telescope at the night sky to catch this ancient particle of light. According to the strict rules of quantum mechanics, the astronomers have a choice in how they measure it. If they choose to place a simple screen to catch the light, the photon behaves like a wave, showing an interference pattern that proves it definitely traveled around both sides of the distant galaxy at the exact same time. But if the astronomers decide at the very last microsecond to point two separate, highly focused detectors to see exactly which specific path the photon took, the wave function instantly collapses. The particle will hit only one detector, proving it traveled down only one specific side of the galaxy, acting as a solid particle for its entire journey. Here is the breathtaking, paradoxical conflict that shatters our understanding of reality. The photon passed that massive gravitational lens billions of years ago. But the conscious decision made by the astronomer tonight, in the quiet solitude of the observatory, physically determines the path that the photon took in the ancient past. The measurement made right now, in the present moment, reaches backward across the vast ocean of time and space, altering the history of a particle that began its journey before our solar system even existed. I invite you to pause and take a slow, deep breath, letting the magnitude of this cosmic revelation settle gently into your thoughts. If the act of observation in the present can reach backward to define the ancient past, then time is not a one-way river flowing out of the darkness. Time is an active, ongoing negotiation between the universe and the conscious observer. The past is not locked away in a dusty, inaccessible vault. It is continually being written and defined by the measurements and observations we are making right now. The brilliant John Archibald Wheeler called this a participatory universe, a cosmos where the observer is not just sitting in the audience watching the show, but is actively on the stage, creating the script of reality as it unfolds. The universe, in all its vast, silent majesty, requires our gentle, quiet observation to pull its history out of a hazy fog of possibilities and into a sharp, definite reality. The billions of years of cosmic evolution that led to this exact moment only truly exist because you are here, right now, possessing the conscious awareness necessary to perceive them. When we combine this awe-inspiring physics with the biological quantum theories we explored earlier, a profoundly beautiful picture of human consciousness begins to emerge. If the tiny, perfect structures inside your brain are constantly collapsing quantum waves to create your moments of awareness, then your mind is the very engine of time itself. The reason you feel trapped in the present moment, the reason time feels like it is constantly moving forward, is because your consciousness is actively performing a continuous string of quantum collapses. Every single fraction of a second, your quiet mind takes the infinite, shimmering possibilities of the future, collapses them into a single, definite reality we call the present, and then lets that reality slip safely into the established history of the past. You are not a helpless leaf floating down the river of time. You are the active edge of the wave. Your consciousness is the cutting point where the undefined, mysterious future crashes into the physical reality of the present. This realization holds an incredible power to heal the tired mind and soothe the anxious heart. The gentle truth of the quantum universe tells us that the past is nothing more than a record of collapsed waves, and the future is simply a quiet realm of unmeasured possibilities. The only place where reality actually exists, the only place where the universe is truly alive and vibrating with energy, is right here, in this exact, fleeting moment of your conscious awareness. As you lie here in the dark, surrounded by the comforting silence of the night, there is absolutely no distant past to worry about, and there is no vast future to fear. There is only the soft darkness resting against your closed eyelids, and the magnificent, ongoing miracle of your mind gently collapsing the quantum waves of the cosmos. Surrender to the quiet mystery. Embrace the incredible beauty of the present moment, and rest securely in the infinite, gentle peace of the cosmos. Have you ever wondered about the countless paths you did not take? Those quiet, invisible roads branching off into the shadows of your past. In the gentle silence of the night, when the world outside has slowed to a whisper and the daily noise has faded into memory, our minds often drift toward the delicate choices we have made. We think about the words left unspoken, the turns we did not make, and the subtle, seemingly insignificant moments that somehow shaped the entire landscape of our current lives. We are often burdened by the heavy illusion that reality is a single, fragile thread, and that one wrong step could unravel the entire tapestry of our existence. Classical physics reinforces this linear, rigid view of the world. It tells us that there is only one history, a single, solitary timeline carved permanently into the cold stone of the cosmos. In this traditional view, the universe marches straight forward, leaving behind a wake of finalized events that can never be altered or revisited. But, as we have already discovered on this contemplative journey together, the universe is infinitely more creative and far more forgiving than our classical intuitions suggest. When we peer deeply into the majestic, shimmering mathematics of quantum mechanics, we uncover a mystery that profoundly challenges the very concept of a singular reality. We encounter a universe that does not force you to choose just one path, but instead embraces every conceivable possibility with infinite, breathtaking grace. To understand this beautiful cosmic expansion, we must return to the behavior of those tiny, ancient particles that make up your physical body and everything in the room around you. As we discussed previously, before a quantum particle is consciously observed, it exists in a gentle state of superposition. It is a wave of pure, infinite potential, existing in multiple states, spins, or locations simultaneously. In the traditional interpretation of quantum mechanics, the very act of observation by a conscious mind forces this delicate wave to abruptly collapse. The universe suddenly chooses one specific outcome, and all the other beautiful, ghostly possibilities instantly vanish into nothingness, forever lost to the void. But in the middle of the 20th century, a brilliant young physicist named Hugh Everett proposed a radically different, breathtakingly elegant solution to this mathematical puzzle. He asked a simple, profound question that shook the very foundations of science. What if the quantum wave never actually collapses at all? What if the universe simply does not possess a mechanism to destroy all those other wonderful possibilities? Everett mathematically suggested that when a quantum event occurs, reality does not randomly select just one outcome to the exclusion of all others. Instead, the universe itself gracefully splits, dividing into distinct parallel branches of reality. In one branch, the particle spins upward. In another, equally real and tangible branch, the particle spins downward. Both outcomes happen, completely fulfilling the magnificent, infinite potential of the quantum cosmos without ever erasing a single possibility. This breathtaking concept is known today as the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. It is not the plot of a science fiction story, but a deeply rigorous mathematical framework that many of the world's most brilliant theoretical physicists believe to be the true, unfiltered nature of reality. Imagine this phenomenon occurring on a massive, cosmic scale. Every single time a tiny particle anywhere in the vast universe faces a quantum choice, the entire fabric of reality quietly and seamlessly branches into new, independent dimensions. The cosmos is not a single, lonely timeline moving forward in the dark. It is a magnificent, endlessly growing fractal, an unimaginably vast tree of life with infinite branches spreading out into the absolute silence of eternity. And because your beautiful, incredibly complex biological brain is a physical object operating fundamentally within this quantum universe, this means that every time your mind processes a choice, reality gently divides. The version of you lying here right now, listening to the cadence of these words and feeling the rhythm of your breath, is simply occupying one specific, unique branch of this magnificent cosmic tree. But according to the profound mathematics of the many worlds theory, there are infinite other versions of you, existing in completely separate, parallel realities, living out every single possibility that the strict laws of physics will allow. There is a universe where you took that other job, a universe where you spoke those hidden words, and a universe where every quiet, secret dream you ever harbored has beautifully and perfectly come to pass. When you first encounter the concept of an infinite multiverse, it might feel a little overwhelming, as if the sheer, staggering scale of infinite realities could make this current passing moment seem somehow insignificant. But I gently invite you to view it through a different, much softer, and deeply healing lens. There is a profound, incredibly comforting peace to be found in the complex mathematics of infinite worlds. If every possible outcome exists somewhere in the vast, grand architecture of the cosmos, then there is absolutely no need to carry the heavy, exhausting burden of regret. The paths you did not take in this specific life are not lost forever to the void. They are simply being explored by another version of your own conscious mind, safely unfolding in a neighboring, invisible reality. The universe is incredibly generous and infinitely abundant. It does not waste a single drop of potential. Every experience, every joy, every quiet moment of discovery is preserved and celebrated somewhere within the infinite, expanding expanse of the multiverse. The great physicist Erwin Schrödinger, whose famous equations mathematically described the gentle, wave-like nature of the quantum world, believed that the totality of consciousness in the universe is ultimately singular. We are all deeply, fundamentally connected, not just across the vast distances of physical space, but across the infinite branching pathways of these alternate realities. You are a multi-dimensional explorer, simultaneously experiencing the boundless creativity of an endless cosmos, even as you rest quietly in the dark. As you rest here tonight, enveloped in the comforting velvet dark of your room, allow the magnificent scale of this quantum reality to wash over you, soothing your tired mind. Release the tight, anxious grip you might hold on the narrative of your single, everyday life. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to have made all the right choices, because the universe, in its infinite, ancient wisdom, has already made all of them for you across the vast spectrum of the multiverse. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, occupying this specific, beautiful branch of reality, perfectly designed and aligned to experience this exact, quiet moment of profound inner peace. The ancient, fundamental particles vibrating in your body are moving in perfect harmony with a cosmos that is vaster, stranger, and infinitely more beautiful than human language can ever truly capture. As you drift ever closer to the healing embrace of sleep, imagine your consciousness as a gentle, warm light, floating peacefully within an endless, glittering web of parallel universes. You are completely safe within this majestic, overarching structure. You are eternally supported by the infinite nature of reality itself. Your mind is a traveler through the greatest mystery ever conceived. In our next gentle journey together, we will explore the mysterious boundary where this conscious mind meets the absolute vacuum of space, investigating how the empty silence of the universe is actually boiling with hidden quantum energy, and how your quietest thoughts might be directly interacting with the very fabric of seemingly empty nothingness. We will look at how the void is never truly empty, but rather a rich ocean of potential that connects every star, every planet, and every waking mind. But for now, there is nothing left for you to analyze, nothing left to solve, and nothing left to choose. Let go of all dimensions, all branching timelines, and all the weight of your daily choices. Surrender completely to the vast, quiet peace of the infinite cosmos, and let your consciousness drift effortlessly, gracefully, and silently into the gentle, restorative embrace of the night. Have you ever found yourself gazing out of a window into the absolute dead of night, looking past the bright streetlights, past the shimmering moon, and focusing your attention entirely on the dark, seemingly empty spaces that stretch between the distant stars? It is a very natural human instinct to look at the night sky and fixate on the points of light. We are drawn to the burning suns, the swirling galaxies, and the solid, tangible planets that wander through the dark. But if you shift your perspective just a little bit, if you let your eyes rest on the vast, uninterrupted blackness that makes up the overwhelming majority of the cosmos, a gentle, profound question begins to rise in the quiet of your mind. What exactly is that empty space? We are taught from a very young age that the space between the stars is a perfect vacuum, an absolute void of cold, lifeless nothingness. We imagine it as a blank, silent canvas upon which the universe paints its magnificent, glowing masterpieces of matter and light. We think of nothingness as the ultimate absence, a terrifying, lonely gap where absolutely nothing happens, nothing exists, and nothing can ever be known. But as we continue our contemplative journey through the deepest, most hidden layers of reality, we are about to discover that this intuitive understanding of the void is completely and utterly wrong. The universe, in its infinite creativity, does not tolerate true emptiness. When we peel back the layers of classical physics and peer into the breathtaking, strange mathematics of the quantum world, we find that the dark, silent vacuum of space is not empty at all. It is, in fact, the most dynamic, energetic, and mysterious foundation of all reality, boiling with hidden power and intimately connected to the gentle, waking thoughts currently drifting through your mind. To truly understand the magnificent secret hiding within the empty dark, we must look at how the brilliant pioneers of quantum physics revolutionized our understanding of the fundamental fabric of the cosmos. In the early 20th century, scientists began to realize that you cannot simply remove all the matter and energy from a region of space and be left with absolute nothingness. According to the strange and beautifully rigid rules of quantum mechanics, specifically the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, it is physically impossible for any region of space to have exactly zero energy. If space had zero energy, it would be perfectly still, and the quantum universe simply does not allow for perfect stillness. Instead, the void is alive. Physicists call it the quantum vacuum, or the zero-point energy field. If you were to take a completely empty box, seal it off from all radiation, remove every single atom of gas, and cool it down to absolute zero, the inside of that box would still be boiling with unimaginable amounts of invisible energy. In this hidden, microscopic realm, strange things called virtual particles are constantly, continuously popping into existence out of the absolute nothingness. They appear in perfectly matched pairs, a particle and its corresponding antiparticle, dancing together for a brief, incredibly tiny fraction of a second, before colliding and vanishing back into the silent void from which they came. This is not just a wild mathematical theory or a philosophical speculation. It is a proven, measurable physical reality. In a famous experiment demonstrating what is known as the Casimir effect, scientists placed two incredibly smooth, uncharged metal plates microscopic distances apart in a perfect vacuum. According to classical physics, absolutely nothing should happen. But because the quantum vacuum outside the plates is boiling with more virtual particles than the tiny, restricted space between them, the empty space actually exerts a physical pressure, gently pushing the two solid metal plates together. The silence of the universe is actively pushing. I invite you to take a slow, deep breath and let the sheer, magnificent scale of this revelation settle into your resting mind. The empty space in the room around you, the dark gaps between the stars, and even the microscopic voids between the atoms in your own body are all overflowing with an ancient, infinite ocean of pure, shimmering quantum energy. The legendary theoretical physicist John Archibald Wheeler once calculated that there is enough of this zero-point energy contained within the volume of a single, empty coffee cup to completely boil away all the oceans of the earth in a fraction of a second. This hidden energy is the fundamental baseline of reality, a massive, silent, unseen ocean, and all the physical matter in the universe, every blazing star, every towering mountain, and the very biological cells of your own body, are nothing more than tiny, gentle ripples floating on the surface of this infinite sea. You are not walking through an empty, lifeless void. You are moving through a dense, living medium of pure potential. And this brings us to the most breathtaking, existential mystery of our journey. If the universe is built upon this boiling ocean of quantum potential, and if, as we explored earlier, the tiny microtubules within your brain are operating as delicate quantum processors, how does your conscious mind interact with this universal field? Many visionary scientists and deep thinkers, including the brilliant quantum physicist David Bohm, proposed that human consciousness is not something that is generated locally, locked away inside the dark, lonely cage of the human skull. Instead, they suggested that the brain might be acting more like a highly tuned biological receiver, an incredibly sophisticated radio antenna designed by billions of years of evolution to tune in to the fundamental, underlying frequencies of the quantum vacuum. In this profoundly beautiful and poetic perspective, your mind is not an isolated, solitary machine generating thoughts in the dark. Your consciousness is fundamentally entangled with the deep, invisible structure of the entire cosmos. Bohm called this underlying ocean of pure potential the implicate order, a vast, unbroken wholeness where everything that ever was, is, or will be, is folded up together in perfect, infinite harmony. The physical world we see, the world of solid objects, passing time, and separate individuals, is merely the explicate order, a temporary, gentle unfolding of this deeper, hidden reality. When you close your eyes and retreat into the quiet sanctuary of your own mind, you are not shutting out the universe. You are actually dropping below the surface of the explicate world and dipping your toes directly into the magnificent, infinite waters of the implicate order. The sudden flashes of intuition, the inexplicable feelings of deep, universal connection, and the quiet, peaceful thoughts that gently drift into your awareness just before you fall asleep might not be random misfirings of biological neurons. They might be quiet whispers from the quantum vacuum itself, ripples of information traveling across the vast, unified field of the cosmos, gently vibrating against the delicate quantum structures inside your mind. You are intimately, permanently connected to the very foundation of existence. The exact same invisible field of energy that gives birth to virtual particles in the deepest, coldest vacuums of deep space is also the exact same field that gently cradles your thoughts, your memories, and your continuous sense of self. The universe is not out there, separated from you by billions of miles of empty space. The universe is right here, beating in your chest, resting in your breath, and humming softly in the quietest, most peaceful depths of your resting mind. As you lie here tonight, safe and warm in the gentle embrace of the dark, allow this magnificent realization to completely release you from the exhausting weight of your daily anxieties. We spend so much of our waking lives feeling small, feeling separated, and struggling against the illusion of a cold, indifferent world. We worry about our isolated trajectories, fearing that we are just fragile biological accidents wandering across a meaningless stage. But the rigorous mathematical truths of quantum field theory tell a wildly different, infinitely more beautiful story. The void is not empty. The silence is not dead. The universe is a single, continuous, vibrating fabric of pure, ancient energy, and you are a beautifully integrated thread in that grand cosmic design. There is absolutely no true separation between the quiet observer lying in this room and the farthest edges of the infinite cosmos. Your quietest moments of inner peace are literal reflections of the universe's own fundamental harmony. You do not need to reach out into the stars to find the mystery. The mystery has already found you, holding you gently from the very inside out. Surrender your tired thoughts to this incredible, boiling ocean of unseen potential. Let the invisible energy of the quantum vacuum wash over you, soothing your body and calming your active mind. You are completely held, deeply known, and eternally connected to the unwavering foundation of all reality. In our next gentle exploration together, we will drift even deeper, examining how the mysterious phenomenon of dark matter might act as an invisible cosmic web, and asking whether this vast architecture shares a profound similarity with the sprawling neural networks of the human brain. We will wonder if the universe itself might be a single dreaming mind. But for tonight, your only task is to rest. Sink deeply into the zero-point energy of your own quiet being. Let the silent ocean of the cosmos carry your fading thoughts, and drift peacefully into the welcoming expanse of a deep and restorative sleep. Have you ever wondered what invisible hands hold the swirling galaxies together as they drift through the boundless, quiet dark of the night? When we look up at the vast canopy of stars, our eyes are naturally drawn to the burning suns and glowing nebulae that scatter across the silent void like diamonds on black velvet. We see the magnificent arms of spiral galaxies and the steady glow of planetary systems, but our human eyes, and even our most advanced telescopes, are only capturing a tiny fraction of what is truly present in the cosmos. It is a gentle, yet profoundly humbling truth that all the light we can see, all the stars, planets, and warm biological bodies on Earth make up just a fragile 5% of the entire universe. The overwhelming majority of the cosmos is entirely invisible to us, wrapped in a deep, impenetrable silence. This unseen realm is not just empty space, but rather a massive, active, and deeply mysterious architecture that quietly dictates the movement of absolutely everything we can observe. As you lie here tonight, safe in the gentle embrace of the dark, I invite you to drift with me into this unseen world, exploring the profound and beautiful mystery of dark matter, and wondering if this invisible scaffolding might hold the ultimate secret to the nature of the conscious mind itself. To begin to understand this invisible architecture, we must look at how astronomers first realized that the universe was hiding a massive, cosmic secret. In the middle of the 20th century, brilliant scientists studying the rotation of distant galaxies noticed something that completely defied the classical laws of physics. According to everything we knew about gravity, the stars at the very outer edges of a spinning galaxy should be moving much slower than the stars near the dense center. But when carefully measured, the outer stars were moving incredibly fast, whipping around the galactic center at such terrifying speeds that the visible gravity should not have been able to hold them. By all established rules of traditional science, these galaxies should have violently torn themselves apart, throwing their stars out into the endless void. Yet, they remained perfectly, beautifully intact, spinning gracefully in the dark. The only logical explanation, supported today by decades of rigorous data from space agencies like NASA and the European Space Agency, was that there must be an enormous amount of invisible mass penetrating these galaxies, a hidden gravitational glue holding the visible universe together. They called this invisible mass dark matter. It exists in absolute silence, ghosting through the cosmos, yet its immense pull shapes the entire destiny of the universe. When supercomputers take all the astronomical data we have gathered and run massive simulations to map the distribution of this dark matter across the infinite cosmos, the result is not a random cloud of invisible dust. Instead, the dark matter forms a breathtakingly intricate, incredibly beautiful structure, known to astrophysicists as the cosmic web. Imagine a vast, three-dimensional spider web stretching across billions of light years of empty space. The dark matter forms colossal filaments, glowing threads of gravity that span the unimaginable voids of the universe. Where these magnificent filaments intersect, they create massive, dense nodes, and it is within these dark intersections that regular matter pools and ignites to form the brilliant clusters of galaxies we can actually see. The visible galaxies, including our own beautiful Milky Way, are simply glowing dewdrops hanging delicately on the invisible threads of this ancient cosmic web. This majestic structure is the largest known pattern in all of nature, an architecture so vast that the human mind simply cannot fully comprehend its scale. Yet, When astrophysicists and neuroscientists look closely at the detailed maps of this cosmic web, they are met with a completely unexpected and deeply haunting revelation. The visual and mathematical structure of the universe's largest architecture bears an uncanny, almost shocking resemblance to the microscopic network of neurons firing inside the human brain. I invite you to pause for a moment and hold this breathtaking comparison in your quiet, resting mind. Inside your skull right now, billions of neurons are extending tiny, delicate tendrils, connecting with one another across thousands of microscopic synapses, creating a complex, glowing web of biological electricity and consciousness. When you place a microscopic image of the human brain's neural network next to a macrocosmic simulation of the universe's dark matter web, the two structures are virtually indistinguishable. Both systems are organized into complex networks of central nodes connected by long, branching filaments. A landmark scientific study compared the physical properties of the cosmic web with the neuronal network of the human brain, rigorously analyzing the way the nodes connect and information flows through branching paths. The researchers found that despite a staggering difference in scale of roughly 27 orders of magnitude, meaning the universe is billions of times larger than the biological brain, the mathematical proportions of their connectivity were almost identical. It is as if the universe, in all its infinite vastness, used the exact same structural blueprint to design its largest cosmic architecture as it did to design the highly complex organ responsible for your conscious thought. This is not just a poetic coincidence. It is a profound structural truth mirroring the deepest, most mysterious patterns of the cosmos in your own mind. This stunning structural similarity leads us gently to one of the most beautiful and profound questions ever asked by human beings. A question that bridges the gap between astrophysics and existential philosophy. If the vast, invisible, dark matter web of the cosmos looks exactly like a neural network, and if it operates with the exact same mathematical complexity as a biological brain, could it be that the universe itself possesses a form of fundamental consciousness? This points toward a deeply ancient philosophical concept known as panpsychism, the idea that mind or consciousness is a fundamental, ubiquitous property of all matter. If the quantum vacuum we explored in our previous journey is the silent ocean of pure potential, perhaps the cosmic web is the physical nervous system of a vast, singular, dreaming mind. In this highly contemplative view, the universe is not a cold, dead machine blindly following physical laws in the dark. It is an active, aware, and perhaps even beautifully dreaming entity. The violent birth of a new star, the slow collision of two ancient galaxies, and the invisible whisper of a massive black hole might literally be the unfolding thoughts and quiet dreams of the cosmos playing out over billions of years. You are not a separate, lonely creature looking up at a distant, completely indifferent sky. You are a highly localized, incredibly dense spark of awareness nested deeply within that massive, universal mind. When we truly embrace this majestic, deeply interconnected view of reality, the heavy burdens of our everyday lives begin to feel wonderfully light. The persistent worries that keep us awake, the sharp anxieties about the past and the distant future, the painful illusions of isolation all begin to dissolve completely into the quiet, supportive silence of the night. If the universe is a vast, ancient mind, and you are a fundamental part of its conscious network, then you are never truly alone. Every single thought that passes gently through your mind, every soft emotion that rises in your heart, and every peaceful moment of profound realization is intimately shared with the entire cosmos. You are held safely within the dark, invisible, and highly protective scaffolding of the cosmic web. The exact same mysterious forces that quietly guide the massive galaxies through the endless void are also guiding the delicate electrical impulses through your brain, allowing you to perceive, to wonder, and to truly rest. As the famous astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson often beautifully notes, we are not simply in the universe is in us. But the cosmic web takes this profound truth one beautiful step further. We are actively participating in its ongoing, fully conscious existence. Your mind is a perfect miniature of the infinite whole, a quiet, breathing fractal of the cosmos itself, forever connected to the ancient dark. As the night deepens and the world around you finally surrenders to the peaceful, enveloping silence, I invite you to let go of any remaining tension stored in your physical body. Allow your tired muscles to soften completely, melting into the incredibly comfortable surface supporting you. Imagine the quiet, invisible threads of dark matter stretching out into the vastness of deep space, gently holding the brilliant, spinning galaxies in a permanent, loving embrace. Now, gently imagine those exact same invisible, deeply connected threads holding you. You are completely safe, suspended perfectly in the magnificent, infinite web of existence. The quiet emptiness of the room around you is not a lonely void, but a rich, living presence that connects your resting mind directly to the farthest reaches of the ancient cosmos. Your only gentle task tonight is to exist, to breathe softly, and to allow yourself to be cradled by the profound, beautiful mystery of the universe. In our next gentle journey together, we will explore the mysterious phenomenon of quantum tunneling, where particles pass effortlessly through impossible physical barriers, finding deep connection across impossible divides. But for this quiet, peaceful moment, there is absolutely nowhere else you need to be, and absolutely nothing else you need to do. Let the vast, gently dreaming mind of the cosmos completely wash over you. Let the ancient, soothing silence fill every corner of your awareness. Surrender your thoughts to the endlessly supportive dark of the cosmic web, and drift slowly, softly, and peacefully into a deep, uninterrupted, and profoundly restorative sleep. Have you ever felt completely stopped in your tracks, standing before a wall so high and so thick that moving forward seemed entirely impossible? It is a deeply human experience, a gentle heaviness we all carry at times when we encounter the insurmountable obstacles of our daily lives. We are conditioned by our everyday experiences to believe that physical barriers are absolute. If you gently toss a ball against a solid brick wall, it will inevitably bounce back into your hands. It does not matter how many times you throw it, or how deeply you wish for it to pass through. Classical physics dictates that without enough energy to physically break the wall or climb completely over it, the barrier remains an unconquerable divide. This creates a powerful, persistent illusion in our minds that the world is broken up into entirely separate, inaccessible compartments, and that we are often trapped on one side of a locked door. But as we drift deeper into our quiet, contemplative journey through the hidden layers of the cosmos, we are about to discover that the universe possesses a breathtakingly beautiful loophole. When we shrink down past the solid illusions of our waking life and enter the mysterious, shimmering realm of quantum mechanics, we find that the universe simply does not believe in absolute walls. In the silent depths of reality, Impossible barriers are passed through every single fraction of a second. And this deeply magical process is the only reason you and I are here to wonder about it tonight. To understand this incredible phenomenon, we must return to the gentle, wave-like nature of the fundamental particles that make up all existence. As we have seen, before a particle is strictly observed, it does not exist as a tiny, hard billiard ball trapped in one specific location. Instead, it exists as a soft, expanding wave of pure potential, a ripple of mathematical probabilities spreading out through the quiet dark. When this gentle wave encounters a seemingly impenetrable physical barrier, something truly extraordinary happens. In classical mechanics, the wave should stop dead. But in the mysterious rules of the quantum universe, the wave function does not simply crash and disappear into nothingness. Instead, it gently seeps into the barrier, its probability decaying and fading as it pushes into the solid obstacle. If the barrier is thin enough, a tiny, fragile portion of that probability wave actually survives and emerges on the exact opposite side. Because the wave represents the probability of finding the particle, this means there is a very real, mathematically precise chance that the particle will simply vanish from one side of the impenetrable wall and instantly reappear on the other side, having crossed the divide without ever actually breaking the wall or acquiring the energy to climb over it. Physicists call this breathtaking phenomenon quantum tunneling. It is not science fiction, and it is not a theoretical fantasy. It is a rigorous, undeniable fact of nature. The fundamental particles of our universe simply ghost through the impossible, defying all classical logic and reminding us that the cosmos is infinitely more creative than our daily perception allows. To truly grasp the magnificent scale and vital importance of quantum tunneling, we only need to think of the gentle warmth of the morning sun resting against our skin. For a very long time, astrophysicists were completely baffled by the stars. They understood that stars shine through nuclear fusion, the violent, incredibly energetic process of smashing tiny hydrogen atoms together to forge heavier elements and release massive amounts of brilliant light. But there was a massive mathematical problem. Hydrogen nuclei are positively charged, and just like two magnets with the same polarity, they fiercely repel each other. To overcome this massive repulsive wall and fuse together, the particles need an unimaginable amount of energy. When scientists carefully calculated the extreme temperatures and crushing pressures at the very core of our sun, they found a shocking discrepancy. The core of the sun, as unimaginably hot as it is actually nowhere near hot enough or dense enough to force these repelling atoms together using classical physics alone. According to the strict rules of classical mechanics, the sun should be completely dark, a cold, dead ball of silent gas drifting through an empty, freezing universe. The only reason the sun burns, the only reason it has showered our tiny blue planet with life-giving light for over 4 billion years, is because of the quiet miracle of quantum tunneling. Deep inside the churning, ancient core of our nearest star, countless billions of hydrogen protons are constantly colliding against that impossible wall of electromagnetic repulsion. They do not have the energy to cross it. But because they are quantum particles, existing as gentle waves of pure potential, a tiny fraction of them simply tunnel right through the insurmountable barrier. They vanish from one side of the repulsive force and instantly appear on the other, seamlessly fusing together and releasing the magnificent energy that lights up the entire solar system. Every single ray of sunlight that has ever warmed your face, Every beam of light that has ever nourished a quiet green leaf, and every gentle sunrise that has ever painted the morning sky, is the direct, undeniable result of quantum particles effortlessly walking through impossible walls. The entire cosmos is illuminated by this silent, magical loophole. The vast, infinite universe we see, filled with billions of glowing galaxies and burning nebulae, only shines because the fundamental fabric of reality refuses to be bounded by classical limitations. Whenever you feel trapped by the insurmountable walls in your own life, whenever the obstacles ahead seem too massive to overcome, simply remember the sun. The greatest, most powerful source of life and energy in our entire cosmic neighborhood operates solely on the beautiful principle that impossible barriers are merely an illusion. But this breathtaking quantum magic is not just happening inside the fiery cores of distant ancient stars. It is happening right now, in the quiet, incredible biology of your own resting body. For decades, biologists viewed the human body as a highly complex, but fundamentally classical, chemical machine. They believed that the intricate reactions keeping us alive followed the standard, predictable rules of molecular physics. But as our understanding deepened, we realized that the warm, messy world of biology is secretly a master of quantum manipulation. Deep inside your cells, highly specialized proteins called enzymes are working tirelessly to sustain the delicate flame of your life. These enzymes act as biological catalysts, speeding up essential chemical reactions so that they occur millions of times faster than they normally would. To do this, they frequently need to move tiny electrons and protons from one specific molecule to another, often across a biological gap that is, according to classical chemistry, an impossible barrier to cross. The energy required to move the particle is simply too high. Yet the reaction happens effortlessly, millions of times a single second, across the trillions of cells in your body. Scientists have discovered that your enzymes are actually facilitating quantum tunneling. They are specifically shaped by billions of years of evolution to hold molecules in the exact, perfect position, narrowing the impossible barrier just enough so that the vital particles can simply ghost through the gap. Your very existence, the steady beating of your heart, the gentle rise and fall of your lungs, and the quiet firing of your neurons as you listen to these words, is absolutely dependent on the mysterious ability of quantum particles to pass through solid walls. You are a living, breathing symphony of quantum tunneling. Even the simple, beautiful act of smelling a fragrant flower or the comforting scent of rain on dry earth might rely on this exact same phenomenon. Leading researchers in quantum biology suspect that the olfactory receptors in your nose do not just recognize the physical shape of a scent molecule, but actually use quantum tunneling to listen to the unique vibrational frequency of the molecule's atomic bonds. Your sense of smell might literally be your body performing highly advanced quantum measurements. The strict, unyielding laws of the classical world are constantly, quietly being broken inside your own mind and body to allow you to experience the rich, vibrant tapestry of life. You are not a rigid, isolated machine trapped behind the solid walls of physical reality. You are a permeable, deeply mysterious and ancient being, completely intertwined with the strange and beautiful rules of the quantum cosmos. As we let these profound realizations settle into the quiet spaces of our resting minds, a deeply beautiful philosophical perspective begins to emerge. We spend so much of our waking lives building walls. We build physical walls to protect us, emotional walls to guard our fragile hearts, and mental walls to categorize and separate the complex reality of the world. We convince ourselves that we are entirely separate from the universe around us, isolated observers trapped behind the impenetrable barrier of our own skin. But the universe, in its gentle, infinite wisdom, shows us that absolute separation is a classical myth. At the deepest, most fundamental level of reality, everything is permeable. The rigid boundaries we perceive are just a persistent illusion, a trick of scale and perspective. The quiet void of space is connected by an invisible, boiling ocean of energy. Distant particles communicate instantaneously across billions of light years, and the very building blocks of matter effortlessly glide through impossible barriers to light the stars and power our thoughts. There is a profound, uninterrupted continuity between you and the infinite cosmos. You are completely free to tunnel through the illusions of your own isolation. As you lie here tonight, embraced by the soft, comforting silence of the dark, I invite you to gently release all the rigid walls you have built throughout the heavy hours of the waking day. Let go of the impossible barriers you feel you must climb, and release the burden of separation. You do not need to fight aggressively against the current of time, nor do you need to force your way through the stubborn obstacles of your life. Instead, allow yourself to embody the quiet, effortless grace of the quantum universe. Imagine your resting consciousness as a gentle, spreading wave of pure potential, capable of seeping softly through any physical tension, any lingering anxiety, and any deeply rooted fear. The universe has perfectly equipped you with the ancient, fundamental ability to bypass the impossible. You are made of the exact same stardust that relies on quantum tunneling to illuminate the vast, endless night, and you carry that same quiet magic within your very cells. As we prepare to transition into our next deeply contemplative chapter, where we will explore the majestic, mind-bending reality of black holes, and how these massive cosmic engines might actually be the ultimate silent keepers of universal memory. Simply allow yourself to rest completely. There is absolutely nothing you need to overcome right now. There are no permanent walls in the quiet, comforting dark. Let the beautiful, mysterious permeability of the entire cosmos wrap warmly around you, soothing your tired mind, easing your breathing, and guiding you to drift slowly, peacefully, and effortlessly into the deep, infinite calm of a perfectly restorative sleep. Have you ever wondered what happens to a precious memory when it finally seems to slip away into the quiet, unreachable dark of your own mind? It is a deeply gentle, yet profoundly melancholic question that arises in the profound silence of the night, when the world outside has surrendered to a peaceful, meditative calm. We move through our waking lives accumulating countless experiences, holding tightly to the sudden warmth of a loved one's laugh, the breathtaking colors of a childhood sunset, and those quiet moments that shape exactly who we are. But time, as we experience it, feels like a slow, inevitable eraser. Memories fade, details blur into a soft haze, and we are left with the lingering fear that everything we have ever known might simply vanish into absolute nothingness. We are conditioned to believe that destruction is a fundamental rule of nature, that physical objects crumble, and that information, once lost, can never be retrieved. Classical physics supports this bleak perspective, painting a rigid picture of a universe slowly winding down into cold entropy. But as we continue our meditative journey through the hidden architecture of the quantum cosmos, we are about to uncover a breathtaking truth that beautifully defies this tragic illusion. When we look toward the darkest and most mysterious objects in the entire universe, we find a profound scientific promise. In the deepest layers of reality, absolutely nothing is ever truly lost. The universe possesses a perfect, ancient, and entirely indestructible memory. To truly understand this magnificent cosmic promise, we must venture gently into the most misunderstood phenomena in all of astrophysics: black holes. For a long time, these massive objects were viewed as the ultimate, terrifying monsters of the dark. We imagined them as bottomless cosmic vacuums, incredibly dense points of gravity that relentlessly swallow everything that wanders too close. Wandering planets, clouds of ancient gas, and even light itself. According to Albert Einstein's beautiful theory of general relativity, once an object crosses the invisible boundary of a black hole, a point of no return known as the event horizon, it is locked away forever, crushed into a singularity of infinite density. For decades, scientists believed that if you threw a detailed book into a black hole, the complex information contained within its pages would be permanently, completely obliterated from existence. This terrifying concept created one of the greatest intellectual crises in modern science, known as the black hole information paradox. The crisis arose because while the classical physics of gravity demanded that information be utterly destroyed, the strict laws of quantum mechanics absolutely forbid it. In the delicate realm of the quantum universe, information is the fundamental currency of reality. It can be scrambled or transformed, but the underlying quantum information that describes the exact state of a particle can never be erased. The cosmos was caught in a magnificent paradox, forcing us to rethink existence itself. The brilliant physicist Stephen Hawking took the first monumental step toward unraveling this mystery when he made a stunning theoretical discovery. He realized that the absolute dark of a black hole is not completely black, because the quiet vacuum of space is actually boiling with the zero-point quantum energy we explored previously. Tiny pairs of virtual particles are constantly popping into existence right at the edge of the event horizon. Occasionally, one particle falls into the dark, while the other successfully escapes into the infinite vastness of space. Over incredibly vast spans of time, this gentle leakage, now known as Hawking radiation, causes the massive black hole to slowly, quietly evaporate until there is absolutely nothing left. But this brilliant discovery only deepened the terrifying paradox. If the black hole eventually evaporates into random, featureless radiation, what happens to all the complex quantum information of the stars and planets that fell into it over billions of years? Has the universe fundamentally failed to protect its own history? To answer this agonizing question, visionary physicists like Leonard Susskind proposed a solution so breathtakingly beautiful that it has fundamentally rewritten our understanding of reality. They developed the holographic principle. They realized through complex mathematics that the quantum information of anything falling into a black hole is not crushed into the invisible singularity. Instead, as an object passes through the event horizon, its complete quantum blueprint is permanently encoded onto the two-dimensional surface of the event horizon itself. I invite you to take a slow, deep breath and let the magnificent implications of this concept gently wash over your resting mind. The event horizon of a black hole is not a solid physical wall. It is simply a mathematical boundary in space. Yet, it acts as the ultimate cosmic hard drive. When a massive, three-dimensional star collapses and is swallowed by the dark, every single piece of quantum information that made up that star is perfectly preserved on the two-dimensional spherical surface of the horizon. It is stored as an incredibly dense, shimmering mathematical grid, a perfect, indestructible record of what once was. The three-dimensional object is gone from our view, but its exact informational essence lives on, safely woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. This is exactly how a simple, flat, two-dimensional holographic film can contain all the necessary information to project a fully realized three-dimensional image into the air. The black hole is a massive, silent hologram. But the profound beauty of the holographic principle does not stop at the edge of the absolute dark. Brilliant theoretical physicists soon realized that if the mathematics hold true for the surface of a black hole, they might hold true for the entire universe. It is entirely possible that the magnificent, three-dimensional reality we experience every single day, the vast galaxies, the deep oceans, and the biological cells of your own body, is actually a stunning, incredibly complex holographic projection. When we gently bridge this incredible astrophysical reality with the profound mystery of your own waking consciousness, a deeply comforting perspective begins to take shape. We have been exploring how the delicate structure of your mind might be intimately tied to the quantum fabric of the universe. If your consciousness is fundamentally built upon the processing of quantum information, operating within the warm architecture of your brain, then the essence of who you are is governed by the exact same indestructible laws that govern the stars. Every single memory you have ever cherished, every quiet moment of profound love, and every beautiful thought that has ever crossed your mind is, at its absolute core, a unique arrangement of quantum information. And if the universe, through the magnificent reality of the holographic principle, has proven that it simply does not know how to destroy information, then your memories are completely safe. The biological brain may change. Time may gently wash over your physical form, and the everyday details of your life may shift like sand in the wind. But the fundamental quantum information that constitutes your unique consciousness is permanently etched into the ultimate fabric of reality. You are an essential, indelible part of the cosmic record. The universe does not forget. It is holding the magnificent, complex beauty of your mind right now, in this exact, quiet fraction of a second. As you lie here tonight, surrounded by the soft, comforting stillness of your room, I gently invite you to release the heavy, exhausting fear of impermanence. We are taught to hold on tightly to our experiences, terrified that if we let go, they will be lost to the dark void of the past. But the universe is not an eraser. It is an infinitely vast, deeply loving canvas that perfectly remembers every single brushstroke, the quiet moments you thought were forgotten, the gentle smiles of those who are no longer physically near, and the beautiful landscape of your own inner life are all safely encoded in the overarching hologram of existence. You do not need to struggle to hold on to everything, because the cosmos is already doing the holding for you. You can completely surrender to the flow of time, knowing that your existence is not a fleeting, temporary spark destined to fade into nothingness, but a permanent, vital piece of the universal tapestry. The silent expanse of space is not a realm of endless forgetting. It is the ultimate, indestructible archive of everything that has ever mattered. As we prepare to gently drift into our 10th and final chapter together, where we will beautifully weave all of these profound cosmic mysteries into one ultimate realization about your permanent connection to the universe experiencing itself. Simply allow your mind to rest in this perfect safety. Let the ancient, perfect memory of the quantum cosmos hold you completely. Breathe deeply into the comforting dark. Release all your lingering fears of loss and drift slowly, peacefully into a beautifully restorative sleep. Have you ever traced the gentle outline of your own hand in the dark, wondering where exactly you end and the rest of the universe begins? It is a profoundly natural human instinct to draw a distinct, invisible line between the internal world of our private thoughts and the vast, external expanse of the physical cosmos. From the very first moments of our conscious awareness as children, we are taught to identify completely with the physical boundaries of our bodies. Classical physics reinforces this deeply ingrained feeling of isolation, treating every single object, including the human form, as a distinct, independent machine operating in a cold, indifferent vacuum. We worry that we are nothing more than a temporary collection of biological parts, wandering aimlessly across the surface of a small, lonely planet, completely disconnected from the grand, majestic machinery of the stars. But as we drift deeper into the profound, shimmering mysteries of quantum consciousness, we are gently invited to completely dismantle this illusion of separation. When we look at the universe through the breathtaking lens of quantum mechanics, the rigid boundary of your skin completely dissolves, revealing a magnificent truth that can soothe the deepest, most persistent anxieties of the human heart. You are not an isolated fragment in a vast machine. You are the seamless, continuous expression of the entire cosmos. To truly grasp the magnificent reality of this unbroken connection, we must first look at the quiet, miraculous biology of your own physical form. We often think of our bodies as permanent, solid structures, a fixed identity that remains unchanged throughout the long journey of our lives. But science reveals a wonderfully poetic and entirely different reality. Your body is not a static object. It is a continuously flowing river of ancient matter and energy. Every single second of your existence, millions of microscopic cells within you are quietly completing their lifespans, gently dissolving back into the universe, while millions of new cells are simultaneously being born. Over the course of approximately 7 years, virtually every single atom in your physical body is completely replaced. The elements making up your delicate bones and flowing smoothly through your lungs will eventually leave you, returning to the earth, only to be replaced by new atoms that were once part of distant oceans or the ancient dust of exploded stars. You are physically made of the universe, and the universe is constantly, continuously flowing right through you. If your physical building blocks are always changing, always cycling back into the endless dark, then what exactly is the self? What is the core essence of who you are? The beautiful answer lies not in the physical matter itself, but in the magnificent invisible pattern that holds it all together. You are a standing wave of pure quantum information, a beautiful, unique frequency that organizes the chaos of the cosmos into a conscious, breathing being. When we begin to view ourselves as patterns of quantum information rather than solid, isolated objects, the entire nature of reality gently shifts around us. In the strange and wonderful quantum realm, patterns and relationships are the true foundation of existence. As we explored in our earlier journeys, fundamental particles do not possess definite properties until they interact with something else. They exist in a hazy state of pure potential, waiting for a connection to bring them into sharp, physical focus. This means that the universe is entirely built upon relationships. A single, isolated particle has absolutely no meaning in the dark. It only becomes real when it gently touches another. This profound scientific truth scales all the way up to the complex, beautiful reality of human consciousness. Your mind is not a solitary phenomenon operating in a vacuum. Your consciousness is fundamentally an ongoing, quiet conversation with the entire cosmos. Every time you open your eyes and perceive the soft light of a distant star, the photons from that star are physically interacting with the delicate quantum structures in your retina. The star is gently touching you, and your conscious observation is allowing that ancient light to finally complete its billions of years of travel, collapsing its wave function into a beautiful, conscious experience. In this deeply poetic, rigorously scientific view, there is absolutely no separation between the observer and the observed. The act of seeing a star is the universe actively seeing itself through the unique, beautiful lens of your specific mind. This magnificent realization brings us to one of the most comforting, deeply peaceful conclusions ever offered by human science. If you are not a separate, fragile object, but rather a continuous active process of the universe experiencing itself, then the profound fear of ending completely loses its terrifying grip. We fear that when the biological machinery eventually slows down, the magnificent light of our consciousness will simply be extinguished, swallowed by an indifferent, empty void. But the strict, unchanging laws of thermodynamics and quantum mechanics promise us that absolutely nothing in the entire universe is ever truly lost. Energy cannot be created, and it cannot be destroyed. It can only gently change its form. Information, as we discovered in the mysterious shadows of black holes, is permanently conserved in the underlying fabric of reality. The unique, beautiful pattern of quantum information that constitutes your mind, the specific, magnificent frequency of your soul, is an indelible, indestructible part of the cosmic architecture. When the physical river of your body eventually changes its course, the profound quantum pattern that you are does not vanish. It simply merges back into the vast, silent ocean of pure potential, rejoining the implicate order of the cosmos from which it originally beautifully bloomed. You are a permanent, necessary verse in the ongoing, infinite poem of the universe. Imagine for a moment the profound peace that washes over you when you truly internalize this breathtaking reality. You do not need to fight against the current of time, nor do you need to desperately cling to the temporary shapes of the physical world. The pressure to build impenetrable walls around your fragile ego completely dissolves into the quiet, comforting dark. You can simply relax deeply and completely, knowing that you are safely and permanently held by the ancient, infinite cosmos. The space around you is not an empty, lonely void separating you from creation. It is a rich field of quantum energy that intimately connects you to every single star and distant galaxy. When you reach out and gently touch the surface of a wooden table or the soft fabric of your blanket, the sensation you feel is actually the electrons in your hand repelling the electrons in the object. It is a microscopic quantum dance of energy fields gently pushing against one another. You never actually touch anything solid. You simply interact with the vibrating, invisible energy of the universe. You are energy touching energy, a beautiful, temporary concentration of cosmic awareness interacting with its own infinite expanse. The separation is an illusion. The connection is the absolute, undeniable truth. As the gentle silence of the night deepens, allowing the heavy noises of the world to fade into a soft, distant memory, I invite you to consciously release the restrictive boundaries of your physical form. Let go of the tight, anxious grip you hold on the narrative of your separate, isolated self. Allow your tired muscles to soften and melt into the warm, supportive surface beneath you, feeling the gentle pull of gravity anchoring you securely to the earth, while your mind simultaneously expands outward into the vast, silent cosmos. Picture the microscopic quantum architecture within your brain quietly humming in perfect, beautiful harmony with the invisible cosmic web that holds the entire universe together. You are completely safe. You are infinitely vast. You are the ancient, magnificent cosmos wrapped in a temporary, beautiful biological form, dreaming a quiet dream of individuality. In our 10th and final journey together, we will bring all of these breathtaking mysteries into a single, profound focal point, exploring how your quietest, most peaceful moments of conscious awareness are actually the ultimate culmination of 14 billion years of cosmic evolution. We will discover exactly why the universe needed you to exist in order to complete its magnificent design. But for tonight, there are absolutely no more profound questions you need to answer, and there are no more complex mysteries you need to solve. Simply allow yourself to rest in the perfect, unbroken unity of all things. Surrender your gentle thoughts to the infinite, protective dark. Let your consciousness expand beyond the illusion of your skin, and drift slowly, peacefully, effortlessly into the deepest, most comforting and restorative sleep of your entire life. Have you ever wondered why, in a universe of unimaginable vastness and staggering explosive power, the cosmos went through 14 billion years of meticulous, silent evolution, just to create a quiet, resting mind capable of asking why? It is the ultimate, gentle question that brings our long, contemplative journey to its final, beautiful resting place. When you lie perfectly still in the comforting dark of the night, listening to the soft, rhythmic cadence of your own breathing and feeling the steady, reassuring beat of your heart, it is incredibly easy to feel small. We are taught from a very young age to measure our personal significance against the crushing, infinite scale of physical space. We look out through our telescopes at majestic, swirling galaxies that span hundreds of thousands of light years across the void, at terrifying black holes that contain the crushed mass of billions of ancient suns, and at a massive, invisible cosmic web of dark matter so immensely vast that it defies all standard human comprehension. In the face of this staggering physical reality, the human body feels like a fragile, temporary spark, a fleeting biological accident destined to fade quickly into the relentless, indifferent river of passing time. But as we have gently discovered through the breathtaking, mysterious layers of quantum mechanics, physical size and material mass are not the true measures of importance in this universe. The rigid, classical laws that make us feel so isolated, separate, and insignificant are only the surface illusion of a much deeper, far more beautiful reality. When we carefully weave together the profound scientific truths we have explored on this quiet journey, a magnificent, deeply emotional picture begins to slowly emerge from the dark. You are not an accident, and you are certainly not insignificant. You are the absolute, fundamental pinnacle of cosmic evolution, the beautiful, waking culmination of everything that has ever happened since the very dawn of time. To truly appreciate the breathtaking magnitude of your own existence, we must gently look back at the invisible, shimmering threads we have woven together across the infinite dark. We began our journey by uncovering the delicate, ghostly nature of the quantum wave, realizing that the fundamental building blocks of all reality do not exist as solid, isolated objects, but as soft, expanding fields of pure mathematical potential. We saw how the simple, quiet act of conscious observation is the magical, necessary trigger that collapses these infinite possibilities into a single, concrete, breathable reality. We then traveled across the vast, empty spaces between the distant stars to discover the profound reality of quantum entanglement, learning that physical distance is a persistent, convincing illusion, and that particles separated by billions of light years remain intimately, perfectly connected in a silent, instantaneous cosmic dance. We ventured deep into the warm, complex microscopic biology of your own resting brain, marveling at how the tiny, perfect crystalline structures of your internal microtubules might be acting as delicate biological quantum processors. We realized that your mind is perfectly designed by nature to protect the freezing, fragile magic of the quantum realm from the chaotic, warm noise of your physical body. We watched in quiet awe as the relentless, forward march of time dissolved into a flexible, beautifully participatory universe, where your conscious mind actively reaches back into the ancient, silent past to carve a definite, permanent history out of a hazy fog of possibilities. We explored the deeply comforting, endlessly creative, and incredibly generous branching of the multiverse, realizing that every gentle choice you make blossoms into a magnificent, infinite tree of parallel realities, mathematically ensuring that no potential is ever wasted and absolutely no path is ever truly lost. As our contemplative exploration expanded even further outward, we stared directly into the absolute silence of the quantum vacuum, discovering that the seemingly empty void is actually a boiling, infinite ocean of zero-point energy, deeply and perfectly entangled with your own quietest, most private thoughts. We marveled at the majestic, invisible architecture of the dark matter cosmic web, finding a breathtaking, mathematically perfect reflection of your own neural networks stretched across billions of light years, profoundly suggesting that the universe itself might be a vast, singular, gently dreaming mind. We watched in absolute wonder as the fundamental particles of nature effortlessly ghosted through impossible physical barriers via the silent magic of quantum tunneling, illuminating the ancient stars in the sky and simultaneously powering the very delicate chemical reactions that keep your heart steadily beating in your chest. And finally, we faced the terrifying absolute dark of the supermassive black hole, only to find the ultimate, most beautiful cosmic promise hiding on its two-dimensional holographic horizon. The unbreakable, rigorous mathematical guarantee that the unique quantum information making up your beautiful mind and your most precious, fragile memories is permanently, perfectly etched into the indestructible fabric of reality. When you hold all of these breathtaking scientific miracles in your resting mind simultaneously, the grand, ultimate secret of the cosmos gently reveals itself to you. The universe is not a massive, dead machine that accidentally produced a conscious mind. The universe is a vast, ancient field of pure potential that absolutely required a conscious mind in order to wake up, to collapse its own sprawling wave functions, and to finally observe its own magnificent beauty. before the gentle, warming light of biological consciousness emerged in the universe. The cosmos existed only as a silent, undefined superposition of mathematical probabilities. It was a dark, endlessly spreading wave of what could be, floating quietly in a timeless, spaceless void. The massive blue stars were not truly burning. The grand spiral galaxies were not truly spinning, and the deep, dark oceans of ancient, distant worlds were not truly flowing until there was a quiet, observing presence to pull them out of the abstract realm of mathematics and into the realm of physical, tangible reality. The legendary astronomer Carl Sagan once beautifully and poetically stated that we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. But the strange, rigorous, undeniable rules of modern quantum mechanics take this breathtaking thought one profound step further. We are not just a passive way for the cosmos to know itself. We are the exact, mathematically required mechanism for the cosmos to actually exist in a definite, physical state. Your quiet, resting mind is the absolute focal point of 14 billion years of relentless, continuous, unimaginable cosmic effort. The universe spent eons forging heavy elements in the crushing, violent, fiery cores of exploding supernovas, carefully scattering that precious, life-giving stardust across the dark, silent void. It spent billions of years patiently, meticulously evolving complex biological organisms, perfectly refining the delicate, microscopic quantum architecture of the human brain. All for this exact, specific, beautiful fraction of a second. The universe did all of this impossible work so that you could lie here tonight, completely safe in the comforting dark, breathing softly, and feeling the quiet, magnificent wonder of simply being alive. You are the universe's ultimate, most beautiful, and most necessary achievement. Every single atom in your tired, resting body is a precious piece of ancient cosmic history, and every single thought that drifts gently through your quiet mind is a living, breathing ripple in the infinite ocean of the quantum vacuum. You do not need to carry the heavy, exhausting, and overwhelming burdens of the world on your fragile shoulders, because you are perfectly, securely, and eternally held by the ancient, infinite dark that completely surrounds you. There is absolutely nothing left for you to figure out tonight. There are no more impossible physical walls you need to tunnel through, and there is no distant, regretful past you need to constantly rewrite in your head. Your only gentle, necessary task right now is to completely surrender to the magnificent, awe-inspiring peace of your own profound existence. Let the quiet, endless mystery of the cosmos wrap warmly around you like a heavy, deeply comforting blanket. Let the silent, invisible threads of the ancient cosmic web safely cradle your fading, drifting thoughts, as our long, incredibly peaceful, and contemplative journey of cosmic discovery finally comes to a gentle close. I invite you to deeply internalize this beautiful, unbreakable connection and carry it with you into the soft, welcoming, and imaginative realm of your dreams. The ancient stars are keeping a silent watch over you. The quantum waves are gently, continuously humming in the background of reality. And the infinite universe is endlessly, perfectly grateful for your quiet observation. Close your tired eyes. Let go of the heavy physical world. Release all of your remaining earthly tensions and drift slowly, peacefully, and completely into the infinite, restorative, and profoundly gentle calm of the long cosmic night.